I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. I'm here with Thomas Mumford of Scottie Resources. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
So I just want to do a bit of an update with Scottie because despite it being only the 10th of January, you guys have put out 4 press releases in the last week. So there's been a flood of news from Scottie. That's a result of having done a really extensive exploration program quite late in the season last year. That's the way that the opportunity played out for you guys. So why don't you take us through what those results told you about the project? What did you learn? What did you learn about the project? Because it's a lot of information to dive through.
So we had a pretty robust field season this year. We started off at the end of June, and we were doing ground-based work over all of our claims this year. And so those results were coming in through the fall, and that's what we were putting out in the fall. At the end of the fall was all our superficial work.
Yes.
But at the end of the year, we decided to push for a last-minute drill program. It was a bit hectic, but we managed to get 2,000 meters in right up until the snow was flying. We literally had to use a bobcat or a dozer to push out the road to get the drill out at the end of the season. So those results didn't come back until mid-December. We crunched them, and then we just blasted them out here in early January. So that was 2,000 meters of drilling results just came out.
And we can break those down into, call it sort of 3 zones. You've got the Scottie, historic Scottie mine area, and so you did some drilling there. And then there's 2 zones that sort of step north from there along a structural trend, if you want to call it. So why don't we start with the Scottie mine? Tell us what you knew before about the Scottie mine and what this new hole has added to that.
So the Scottie gold mine itself ran in the early 80s, produced a ½ ounce per ton, 100,000 ounces about. And it shut down due to economics, not because the geology wasn't there anymore. Right. So we went back in, looked at all the old geology, and looked at, okay, this is what this structure looks like. How did they drill it before? Where would you add ounces on here? And all the drilling before was done from underground, or 90% of it was, and it was mostly production-focused drilling. Very short holes, and they had limited places where they could drill from, so they could only intercept certain areas.
Right.
We stepped back and we drilled a deep hole. So our Scottie Resources numbers this year for Scottie Gold Mine is just one deep hole, 536 meters, drilled from surface, and we tagged the end of the biggest zone that they mined at Scottie, which is called the M zone. That's where 90% of the production came from, and so we did a significant step out from that, like 45, 50 meters from there, mostly along strike and the underside at depth on that. And we hit 11.72 grams over 10.95 meters. So like basically 11 over 11 for that intercept, which is great. That's a wider intercept than most of the other intercepts for the M zone as well.
Right. So you've extended Scottie, the known resource, along strike, which is great because in that direction, which is to the north-northwest, there's limited drilling in that area. You hit it reasonably deep, not a lot deeper than you've known, but deep. So it's open still in that direction. So Scottie, there's room above where you've hit it. There's room to continue along strike. That main zone, there's clearly still potential there. Then Scottie has sort of its own east-west thing going on, and one of your fun targets is just to the west of that. Yeah,
so we found a new showing this year called the Domino zone. The highest surface sample we took this year, which was 536 grams a ton, and we did a chip sample, which was 5 meters long, and it ran 10.5 grams. So, and this is, if you project east-west from Scottie, it's basically on strike of Scottie in a structure that's parallel to that. And so that's our prime drill target for real step out. We're almost 2 kilometers away from Scottie at that point. So pretty excited to drill that. And in between them is a lot of glacier and ice. So it's if there was something there, you may not have seen it yet. So there's nothing shutting it down. Pretty exciting.
And then just to finish up with the drill results, because there were 2 more sets of drill results, we moved north from Scottie along a different sort of structural trend, and there was 2 zones up there that you tested as well.
Yeah, so that is the Bow property, and there was the Blueberry vein, which is closer to Scottie, a little bit closer, and then the Bend vein. And those are targets that are right off a road. We were using a skid-based drill. The Scottie hole was a helicopter-based pad. And we drilled a number of holes following up on historic work. And the Blueberry hole, we were targeting a new area, a big splay off of it, and we hit 7.44 grams over almost 35 meters. And it is completely open at depth and up to the north from there. And so we're pretty excited to go in next year and follow up that one as well.
Yeah, and then to finally, there's the Bend zone, which is right at the the farthest north target that you tested, and it was another success. I mean, another area of historic drilling and another successful intercept.
Yeah, the bend exists literally on the road, and I think they discovered it when they were putting the road into the Grand Duke mine, and the vein goes right across the road. So they were drilling off the road before. They'd only ever drilled down for about 50 meters, 55 meters vertical depth. So, and they were just trying to create a small historic resource so that they could put that in a Scottie. So we went in and drilled it a little bit deeper and extended on strike, and we had some success there. And our big hole is basically through the heart of that, and just a confirmation hole of that historic block of ore that they had.
So, I mean, it sounds complicated because there's all these zones when we're talking about it, but really what we're talking about is an area. You're fairly close to Stewart, BC. Like, it's a road-accessible area. Mm-hmm. Some of your pads are helicopter, but it's an accessible area. Historic mine. There's an old mill there, whatnot. And it was underexplored because focus went into the mine. Mm-hmm. There was all these other showings that didn't get a lot of work. And glaciers have receded. There's more access, things like that. Yeah. And between the surface work that you did, the drilling that you did, and then some geophysics that you had from before and you might add to, there's yet more targets. So you have a lot on your plate going into 2020. You have a lot of things yet to follow up on, but you're starting to get a bigger picture feel for what this project looks like, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And of course, to do all that work takes some money. Yeah. But you just got some money that you guys announced today.
Yeah, we got $2 million from Eric Sprott.
Right. Yeah. And when I saw that, it wasn't a huge surprise because Eric Sprott loves high-grade gold and he loves British Columbia. So that in itself made sense, but there's probably another reason why he liked Scottie.
Well, I mean, we're one of the last people in the area that he's invested in. I mean, he's heavily invested into Ascot, which is our nearest neighbor to the south, who are basically starting up a mill. I mean, he's got a massive investment into that, into a mine that's going to be producing soon, who needs a lot of ore, and Scottie would be a natural takeout for that.
Right. So he's setting up on both sides of the bid there. Well, that's exciting. So it's been a busy start to the year for you. Now you've got to get out there, tell the story, and prepare for the season, which will start. I mean, it's a bit of a ways off, but there's some storytelling to do in the meantime and some planning.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thanks for coming in for the update, and I look forward to keeping up with the story.
Thanks, Gwen.